Okay, so I'm the crazy one, right? I'm the one that's still very much looking forward to WrestleMania, and I'm thinking that there's almost every match on the card is going to deliver in some way, shape, or form, and every match on the card I can find interest in some way. I'm that crazy guy. I'm the one that's giving WWE the benefit of the doubt. I'm the one that, despite all odds and despite all my surroundings, is still very, very much looking forward to WrestleMania. But even I can't defend the main event segment tonight. Ooh, that was bad. Yeah. What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal Spaz Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check, and this is the end of the road. As far as me talking to you guys face to face, this is the end of Road Signs 2015. Now, I say me talking to you guys face to face because, as you know, or as you may have heard me mention in several forums, there will be a panel. There will be a panel this Wednesday. As I know right now, this panel will consist of myself, OK Fabe, Heel Steven, and from the Wrestle Recap show, Kristen and Guapo, who was, Guapo was the one that was on the Fast Lane tackle with me, if you guys remember back that far. That will be a massive 5-way WrestleMania preview video, and I'm pretty sure we're going to be talking all over each other. And it's going to be fun, and it's going to be fantastic. And obviously, Ask the Phoenix is this week as well. My sinuses are fucked like usual. And let's talk about Raw. This is the go-home show for WrestleMania. And yes, the main event segment sucked. I'm going to freely admit that. Doesn't take away from the fact that the rest of the show was great. The rest of the show did everything it needed to do to build WrestleMania. Oh, yes. Start off the show with Sting. Sting actually spoke. Sting got a huge pop. They were in the Staples Center tonight with a reported attendance of over 17,000 people. That might explain the big pop. Tonight we already know that we're going to get Roman and Lesnar face to face. We're going to get Orton versus the crowd's choice on the app. It's either going to be Big Show, Kane, or Rollins with J&J Security as a 3-on-1 handicap match, and we're going to get a Divas title match because Nikki Bella has offered up a title shot to Paige and to AJ, but they have to decide which one of them is going to get the title shot, which is really, really, really cool. It's a really interesting. I know people don't like the fact that the title's not involved at WrestleMania, but it was a really neat way to try and put a wedge between the frenemies. I know Deluxe Man likes to hashtag that a lot, so we'll do that. But Sting comes out. He says, I've been known as a lot of things. I've been known as a WWE soldier, but this is what it's like to be on Monday Night Raw. He says he was the WCW soldier. He was the one that stayed until the very end, and he watched Triple H climb the WWE to the top in his own scheming way. He thinks he's unstoppable. I'm not here to fight for WCW. I'm here to take down Triple H. Stephanie says, congrats on finally making it to the big time. Look at you on Raw in the ring with me. Sting calls her a spoiled brat. He says it's nice to meet her. Steph says, I can read my writing, I swear. You're intimidated because you're in a big fish. You were a big fish in a small pond, and now you're a minnow in the shark tank. My dad bought your old home of WCW. You never left WCW. Good for you. You're loyal. So are dogs. Dogs are stupid. WCW lost. You lost. And whatever you have left, you will lose to Triple H at WrestleMania. And, even a stupid dog can't change what he is by becoming a face-painted freak. Then she goes to slap Sting. He blocks it. He holds her by the wrist. Nothing else. No ECW style beating up the women. I mean, we've seen Steph in situations like this before. As soon as it looks like he's going to hit Steph, Triple H comes out. He comes out and, with his wife, and did he lay a hand on you, and all that sort of thing. And he's about to go into the ring, but then Stephanie goes under the ring and grabs the sledgehammer. She comes up, but you see her sort of coming up above the level of the ring, and just the way it's shot is very, very similar to, if anybody remembers back in the day, WrestleMania, when it was Vince McMahon versus, I believe, Hulk Hogan, and he went under the ring to get the pipe, and he was all bloodied up, and he just came, and all you saw was the Vince McMahon eyes right about here, and it was all busted up, and he was all psycho. Stephanie had that same look. She got the sledgehammer, Sting pulled out the bat, there was a lot of posturing, and Triple H and Stephanie left and said, we're going to handle it this Sunday at WrestleMania. God, there's a lot of writing. Dean Ambrose and R-Truth versus Stardust and Harper to build up the ladder match for the Intercontinental Championship match. You know, all that build that everybody else in the YWC will say isn't there. Truth and Stardust start out, but then they immediately tag in their respective partners. A headlock and a snapmare, and a headlock by Ambrose, a crossbody by Ambrose, mudhole stomping by Ambrose, a kitchen sink and dropkick by Ambrose gets a near fall. Ambrose and Truth knock out Harper and Stardust, and we go to the commercial break. A straitjacket choke on Ambrose by Stardust looks really nice, not gonna lie. A tackle in the corner and an Alabama slam by Goldust. Harper and raking the eyes. Uppercut and a hangman by Harper, and he transitions it into the gator roll. And then transitions the gator roll into a headlock for a long time, because he's a bad guy, and bad guys do that. Black hole slam by Harper gets him a near fall. Top rope face first suplex on Stardust by Ambrose, which is really nice. Harper clotheslines Ambrose out of the ring. Ambrose hits a tornado DDT. Stardust and Truth brawl in the ring, even though neither one of them are legal, which is nice. Facebuster by Truth. Harper boots Truth. Ambrose hits the rebound clothesline on Harper. Ambrose hits a suicide dive on Harper on the outside. Truth hits the little Jimmy on Stardust, and Truth and Ambrose get the win. Truth and Ambrose dance after the match, and people on Twitter proceed to shit on it because they don't have a sense of humor. That's fine and wonderful. We get a Roman Reigns video promo, and here's where I'm going to start taking apart the main event a little bit. I'm pretty sure I'm going to enjoy the main event at WrestleMania. And if I don't, there's a lot of other fantastic things on the show. It won't be the first time that the main event wasn't really the main event. Look at Undertaker and CM Punk, etc. But they did a thing with Roman Reigns very similar to what they did with Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar did that very UFC-ish, we're going to take a bit of your interview, intersperse it with a bit of a promo package, bit of a highlight reel, and sort of all throw it together. They did it with Roman Reigns, and it just didn't come off very well at all. You guys know me, I usually come up on here and I credit the graphics guys and the audio visual and the guys that do the highlight reels and the build-up packages and all that sort of thing. They usually do a really good job. They were just a little bit off the mark on this one. To build the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, Mizdow, Adam Rose in the Ascension versus Ryback, Rowan, Titus O'Neil, Darren Young, and Zack Ryder. They had a guy who's from Grantland. I don't know what the fuck Grantland is, I'm not gonna lie. Apparently he's in a Twitter war with JBL, so they were on commentary. That's fucking wonderful. Big pile of people match meant to push the... Normally I would admit that a big pile of people match is just a big pile of people match, but it's meant to get us ready for the absolute clusterfuck that's going to be the Andre Battle Royal, so it kind of makes sense in this case. Couple points, because I'm not going to run down what happened in the match for damn sure. We continue the Miz and Mizdow story with Miz telling him when to tag in, telling him when to tag out. When the crowd wants him, he tags anybody but Sandow, etc. One thing I do have to say, and I know what the reaction is going to be to this, because the Rosebuds are on the stage, and it's fine. But Adam Rose and Zack Ryder looked really good in this match. That is, until the Ascension got in there and killed Zack Ryder. The only two stars in this match that got loud cheers from the LA crowd were Sandow and Ryback. A meat hook, clothesline, and a shell shock on The Miz gets the win for the babyfaces. Obviously by Ryback, because it's Ryback. Randy Orton comes out, and we find out that obviously the ones that won the app vote by a vote of 77% is Rollins and J&J Security. So Mercury's the first legal man in the ring and gets face planted by Orton. Then Noble tags and he gets slammed down and he gets the Orton stomp. You know, where he stamps on the hands, stamps on the feet, stamps on the head, etc., etc. Orton throws Noble at Rollins, which is fine. Pendulum kick by Rollins in the melee allows Noble to actually get some elbows on Orton. Orton's a main eventer. He shouldn't be getting elbow dropped by Jamie Noble. This is a thing. But he hits double clotheslines to J&J Security. He hits a snap slam on one of them and a suspension DDT on both of them. Rollins tries to get him from behind, misses the curb stomp, and Orton misses the RKO. Rollins bails, leaves J&J Security in the ring. Jamie Noble hits an RKO. Sorry, he doesn't hit an RKO. He takes an RKO. Randy Orton gets the win. You know, Rollins continues being the cowardly heel that needs lots and lots of backup. They build their match for Sunday. Everything's all good. We replay the interview that Cena did with Michael Cole on WWE.com about Cena, about Rusev, about how it's so disgraceful that a Russian holds the U.S. championship. And I want to be like the guy from CinemaSins, but that's racist. But I won't. Paige and AJ banter back and forth in the back about which one's going to take the title match, and apparently it's Paige, because the next match we get is Nikki versus Paige for the Divas Championship. Nice match. Nice match. I don't like the ending. Nice match. Start off with a collar and elbow tie-up, chops from Nikki, mounted punches by Paige, knees on the apron by Paige, you know, where she's got her laid out on the second rope and just has her sort of by the shoulders and just multiple knees to the midsection. It's nice. It's a good sort of, for a Divas match, I will say, it's a pretty decent looking spot. Mounted punches and an elbow by Nikki. Nikki bails. Paige clotheslines her off the apron. Nikki drives Paige face first into her knee. She basically has her in a stunner position, but instead of dropping her on her jaw, brings her all the way forward and brings her knee up and knees her in the face. It's a nice little move. I don't know what the fuck it's called, obviously. Nikki rides a headlock for a while. Friggin' kick to the face by Paige and a double clothesline spot. Paige is the first one up and gets rolling clotheslines on Nikki for a near fall. Nikki hits what I can only describe as a somewhat botched disaster kick, but I think the impact was made with the knee instead of the foot, obviously, but it still looks pretty nice. Super kick by Paige, Alabama slam by Nikki. Paige counters the rack attack into a rampage and gets a near fall. She kind of freaks out when it doesn't get the pin, but Paige spears Nikki out of the ring. You know how Big E does that thing where he's in the ring, the opponent's on the outside on the apron, he spears through the ropes, takes himself and the opponent out? Well, Paige did that, and it looked really good. AJ stops Brie from interfering. AJ accidentally elbows Paige. Nikki elbows Paige. On purpose, obviously. Rack attack and Nikki gets the win. Because of the miscommunication, Paige and AJ brawl to a loud Los Angeles let them fight chant. And oh my god, there's dissension on the team leading into WrestleMania. It's fucking fantastic. Oh yes. We see a replay from SmackDown of the Intercontinental Contenders Gauntlet match, which was fucking marvelous. If you saw my Wednesday night SmackDown review, you know how marvelous it was. And the best part of that gauntlet was obviously Dolph Ziggler versus Daniel Bryan. So what are we going to do tonight? Obviously, Daniel Bryan versus Dolph Ziggler, but you get to go on the WWE excuse me, you get to go on the WWE app and choose who the ref is going to be. Your choices are the other 5 guys in the ladder match. So once again, build towards the ladder match. Fantastic. Next we get, I look up to my TV, I look away, I do something on Twitter, I look up, and I see Deluxe Man rolled in a bandana. Oh wait, it's not Deluxe Man, whoever that is talking positively about wrestling. Oh, that's Snoop Dogg, that's right. He's out to talk about WrestleMania and hype it up, and it's all good because he has a great relationship with WWE. He's been at several WrestleManias, he knows what WrestleMania mania is like, and it's time for Snoop Mania to run wild. He's obviously interrupted by Curtis Axel and talks about how Axelmania is better than Snoop Mania. Axelmania is running wild, and he gets loud Los Angeles Axelmania chants, but Snoop Dogg says, I don't know about Snoop Mania, I don't know about Axelmania, I know about WrestleMania, but we're forgetting one Mania. Hulk Hogan comes out and he's posing with Snoop Dogg, and he talks about Andre, he talks about Snoop, he mocks Curtis Axel a whole lot. He even turns to Snoop Dogg at one point, he's like, man, you'll know this better than me, what's this guy smoking? Which I think is fucking wonderful, especially when we had the other Deluxe Man, Wiz Khalifa on there a couple weeks ago. Fan-friggin-tastic. Axel tears his shirt, Snoop Dogg tosses Axel out of the ring, he poses with Hogan, he takes off his bandana pajamas, and he has got a Hogan shirt on underneath. Obviously, you know, Hogan poses with the 24-inch pythons, and JBL says between the two of them they've got 30-inch pythons, and that's fantastic and wonderful. We have a rematch, and I'm not even going to get into this. I'm really not. We have a rematch from SmackDown of the 6 being interspecies match, and it just makes me smile because I know how many of you got mad about this. What makes everybody even more mad is the fact that the faces win when El Torito pins Natalya. Fucking yes. But the point of all this was the Usos were on commentary to talk about the match at WrestleMania. On the pre-show, the Usos, The New Day, The Matadors, and Cesaro and Kid for the titles on the Mania pre-show. Yep, that's a thing. Kane comes to the back to collect the Intercontinental Championship from Wade Barrett on behalf of the Authority because they're going to let it hang over the ring for the rest of the night to symbolize that there's a ladder match at WrestleMania. WWE's I will admit, WWE's kind of hitting it over the head with the symbolism. When Andre, the Giant Memorial Battle Royal competitors are in the ring on Raw, the trophy's always there. When anybody who's in the ladder match at WrestleMania is there, the ladders are always on the rampway. And they're going to hang the belt over the ring for the rest of the night, Roddy. On SmackDown, this coming Wednesday for me, Thursday for the rest of you, Roman Reigns, Mark Henry, John Cena, and Daniel Bryan will take on Bray Wyatt, Seth Rollins, Big Show, and Kane. Yay! Really, realistically speaking, it's not going to be a SmackDown. There's 1 or 2 matches that were filmed before Raw started tonight. They're going to play those matches out on Wednesday/Thursday in amongst a bunch of promotional stuff for WrestleMania. It is the typical pre-WrestleMania SmackDown. It's not an actual SmackDown show. Rusev versus Swagger, where I don't take notes because we know how this is going to go. The whole match, we want Lana chance. So for all of you NXT buffs that are up Rusev's ass, he's not even as over as his manager. Just putting that out there. Swagger gets a little bit of offense. Rusev owns him a lot. Superkick Accolade gets the win. He keeps him in the Accolade until Cena comes to make the save. And yes, typically you want to roll your eyes and say, of course Cena makes the save, but then Cena gets his ass kicked. He gets slammed. He gets slammed spine first into the post. He gets super kicked on the outside a lot, and then he's posed on the English announce table in the Accolade, and he's fucked up. And it's fucking glorious, because typically the fresh person involved doing the run-in would be the one that has the upper hand, but no, even though it's Cena, even though he's fresh, Rusev wins. I don't know what the Russian for LOL is. Putting that out there. But it's good. Cena. And everybody's saying, oh yeah, well that means he's definitely going to win on Sunday. Whatever. Bray Wyatt comes out. And I know I've been writing down his promos for, at least for this, but there was too much. But I will say that his nameplate not being a typical Raw nameplate, being a thing made out of fireflies, like digitally, is a nice little touch. 17,000 strong in the Staples Center with all their lights out is a pretty impressive looking thing in and of itself. His promo just goes on and on and on, and it never gets old, it never gets tired, and the intensity from Bray Wyatt is fucking wonderful. When you hear the lightning and the thunder and you see the lights go out and everything start to flicker, and you think, okay, Undertaker's, even if it's pre-recorded, Undertaker's got some kind of response, but Bray Wyatt smiles and keeps going, and it's at that point in the promo where he starts saying that I'm the one in charge of the light and the darkness, I'm the one in charge of these demons that you used to be in charge of, I control the lightning, I control the thunder, you know, I control that aura that you used to control. And as he's going through this promo, it's fucking wonderful. The cracking of the lightning and the thunder and the flickering of the lights and everything that you would normally associate with The Undertaker just builds and builds and builds and helps this promo build to a crescendo until, you know, you figure that Bray Wyatt is going to go backstage after this performance and he's going to have no voice left because it is absolutely fucking phenomenal. I won't even try to tell you what he says. I won't even try to tell you what he touches on, other than that we are all liars and Undertaker is just like one of us, and he's going to ascend to his new place among the gods as the new face of fear, because that's been the general thing. But I say, I know there are people that don't watch Raw. I know there are people that read the Cliff Notes and think they have a clue what happened on Raw. But I genuinely suggest to you, if you have not seen this promo, go back and watch it. Kevin Nash is going into the Hall of Fame. Fan-fucking-tastic. And I know there's a lot of people out there who's like, well, he better not main event the Hall of Fame over Randy Savage. Get the fuck over it. If he headlines the Hall of Fame, then he headlines the Hall of Fame. It's a thing. I'm not saying one's better than the other. I'm not going to get into that fight. But it's like when Edge went into the Hall of Fame in his particular class, and we really, really thought that Savage was going in that year. Savage didn't go in that year, so everybody took it out on Edge for reasons. It's one of those. Kevin Nash, Diesel, whatever you want to call him. Diamond Stud, Vinny Vegas. What else can we say? You know, NWO. Click, fill in the blank, fill in the blank, fill in the blank. Definitely well-deserved. Congratulations to him. Daniel Bryan versus Dolph Ziggler. And fuck me on these notes. Obviously, the crowd voted for Dean Ambrose to be the referee in this match. And Dean Ambrose isn't really a factor in this match, which is kind of cool. My chair's doing its thing, like it usually does. Come on, it's a Raw review. My chair is doing its thing. Waistlock by Bryan, a leg pick by Dolph Ziggler, a headlock by Bryan, a shoulder by Bryan, a test of strength that Bryan wins. Bryan works over Ziggler's arm. Bryan hits an uppercut. Ziggler hits body blows in the corner. Ziggler hits a snapman and elbow. Ziggler hits a locks on a headlock. Ziggler slaps him in the face and they start trading punches. Ziggler tosses Ziggler tosses Bryan out, but it's not successful because Bryan skins the cat in, and in the process, head scissors Dolph Ziggler out. So it's the typical Shawn Michaels ripped off spot where, you know, you do the head scissors, you pull yourself up, the guy basically says, okay, grab my head, and pull him out of the ring. It's a setup move, it's one of those suspend your disbelief type things. Still very good. I'm not knocking Daniel Bryan. He did it great. Whatever. Moving on. Daniel Bryan hits what I can only call a feet-first suicide dive, but then misses his running knee off the apron. Ziggler clotheslines him over/through the guardrail guarding the timekeeper's area, and we go to commercial break. We come back. They're in the ring. Ziggler rides a headlock and turns that headlock into a mounted sleeper hold, I should say, with a body grapevine, basically making Daniel Bryan wear him like a backpack, which is nice. Bryan slams him into the turnbuckle to break that up, obviously. Ziggler tries a Fameasser, and it's countered into a pretty decent roll-up attempt by Daniel Bryan, I'm not going to lie. Bridging German suplex by Daniel Bryan gets a near fall, and is fucking pretty. I don't give Daniel Bryan a lot of credit, you guys give me a lot of shit for that. The bridging German suplex that Daniel Bryan pulls off in this match is fucking phenomenal. Bryan gets crotched on the top rope. The two men struggle. On the top rope, Bryan headbutts Ziggler until he falls down, but he responds by leaping back up to the top rope, Kurt Angle style, except it's not a Kurt Angle slam, it's a top rope, top turnbuckle X-Factor on Daniel Bryan for a near fall. Ziggler and Bryan go into a backslide war, you know, where you lock the arms and each one of you tries for a backslide, and he gets a near fall on Bryan. Bryan hits a boot, gets a near fall, and we get, say it loud, say it proud, we get the Daniel Bryan silly kicks, but not for too long because Ziggler's in the corner, and Daniel Bryan does that running dropkick thing that he does. Tries for it again because he's cocky, eats a super kick, eats a zigzag, Ziggler gets the win, and I say, oh, fucking yes. Dean Ambrose comes to raise up Ziggler's hand. Dirty deeds by Ambrose on Ziggler. Everybody else pours out. There's a big brawl. Everybody, because the belt is suspended around the ring, it's a precursor to WrestleMania. Everybody tries. It's a finisher fest. It's pretty damn good for a finisher fest, I'm not gonna lie. But the ending scene is that all 7 men are down and nobody was able to get the belt. I guess underscoring how brutal this match is going to be this Sunday. This match, and I will say this, and I will say this on Wednesday on the panel, and I will say this up until the day of WrestleMania, this match will steal the show. Triple H versus Sting is historic. Bray Wyatt versus Undertaker is creepy. Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar is whatever bullshit you want to say about it. Cena versus Rusev is interesting. The Divas match I'm looking forward to, but this match here will steal the fucking show. I mean, it's a ladder match, first of all, and look who's in it. It's a thing. And, of course, the ending segment is Heyman comes out, cuts a fantastic promo on Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns comes down, face-to-face with Brock Lesnar. Lesnar holds up his title. Roman Reigns grabs it. He poses with it, and they play tug of war. And that's how we end the show. Wah, 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 wah. Shitty way to end the show, I'm not going to lie. But I will not let the last 10 minutes of the show erase the fact that it did everything it needed to do for me. You built up the IC match, you built up the US match, you introduced the tag match, finally. You built up the Divas tag match, you built up Orton versus Rollins, you've built up the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, you gave Axel a moment with Snoop Dogg and Hogan for whatever that's worth. Oh, and Kid Ink was in the crowd tonight, and he's going to be performing at Mania. Fantastic. Deluxe, man, how many names do you go by? Really? Like, you're making it confusing for the rest of us, buddy. Help us help you. I mean, you're going to need enough therapy after WrestleMania. Anyways, guys, please tune in for the panel on Wednesday. I should have Ask the Phoenix up by Thursday, but at this point, no promises. WrestleMania is going to be a hell of a time. I'm going to have fun, no matter what anybody else says. I've been your... And it's WrestleMania, and I fucked up the call-out thing. So, I've been Spaz, your YWC Reality Check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation, keep all these conversations going, put your last thoughts for Mania down in the box below. I'll talk to each and every last one of you later, but for right now, I am tagging out. Bye.